Hello and welcome. I'm NEJE and in this episode I'm going to show you how to set up remote access for the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so before we go any further with the Raspberry Pi, we need to get the VNC software for our computer. Now, this is the realvnc.com website. If you go to realvnc.com, it will take you to here. You can then go to download at the top and it will take you to the correct website. Here's a list of different things that you can put a server on. The Raspberry Pi is also listed here, and the Raspberry Pi, if you have Raspbian Jessie or later, VNC is pre-installed, so you only need to download the Raspberry Pi if your Raspberry Pi has a different Linux distribution, which it probably doesn't, because you hopefully followed my tutorial from the last episode on how to download and install that. That one would have VNC installed. There's also cloud and direct connectivity thing here, and apparently it comes pre-licensed as well, so it might be useful if you have like multiple Raspberry Pis. Maybe you can cloud them together and you can view them all kind of from a web GUI kind of thing. I think that's what this is about. I've not actually looked into it myself, but if you wanted to look into that, it might be worth a look. So yeah, you want to click on here, the VNC viewer, and this is actually things that you can use to view the server. So you have Windows, Mac, Linux, Raspberry Pi, but we don't want to download the one for the Raspberry Pi because this we're viewing it on Windows. So we want to go to Windows and we want to download the exe. There's different types of exe. You can just go for like a standalone exe64 if you're using a 64-bit Windows, and then that will allow you to remote onto any kind of, well, anything else, and you can run it just from the exe file, which is what I do tend to prefer sometimes. Actually, it's quite nice to just have one exe file to rule them all. So yeah, download and install that. I'm sure you know how to install a program. I'll leave that to you. So obviously you need to plug in your keyboard and mouse. You need to plug in the HDMI cable so you can see what's going on, and then you want to plug in the power source, and you should see something like this. So yeah, this is VNC. Yes, I am actually using VNC to view the Raspberry Pi because it's just an easier way of doing it right now, and yeah, it's just the best way to do it. So with your Raspberry Pi, what you want to do is you want to go to the command prompt here, and then you can type in VNC server. This will actually run the server program. So if you press enter here, it will create a server for you, and it just has. So what it does is actually it allows you to run a server on your computer, or on the Raspberry Pi, sorry, which you can connect to remotely. So if you really wanted to, you can connect to this. The IP address for it is here, or you can also type in that as well. That should work as well if you have like the special network names or whatever it's called enabled. I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, if you typed in this IP address with that at the end, you need to have that at the end because that's the port number. Then it would connect and it would allow you to view the desktop of the Raspberry Pi remotely on any other computer or even Chrome and stuff like that. And although that is great, we actually want to have it so that we don't have to plug in our keyboard, our screen, so that we don't have to do all of that every time that we want to connect to our Raspberry Pi. What we want to do is actually make it a lot easier to do that, to actually connect to it. So what you want to do is you're going to close this down, and you go onto the little Raspberry Pi icon up here. This is your kind of start menu, I suppose, of Pi. Go down to preferences, then go to Raspberry Pi configuration, and in here, if you go under interfaces, enable VNC, and that's it. Click OK, and then when you restart your Raspberry Pi, you go shut down and then reboot. It will actually turn your Raspberry Pi off, and I'll just close it like that. Here's the two that I've connected to. So if you wanted to connect to it and you set up the other server, it will connect to it through this. If you wanted to connect to it through the one that I just set up to start on startup, you connect to it through this. Now it does need to have booted to desktop to do this. There's other ways of doing it, most likely from like a command line kind of perspective or whatever. But this way does work perfectly fine, and I don't really find an issue with this just yet. So if you just double click this, it's already restarted, and you have here the authentication box. The default password and username is, well, username is Pi and password is Raspberry. What you then want to do is press OK, and there you have it. You've connected remotely to your VNC server, and it's been fairly smooth this time. So yeah, that is good. Yeah, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, learn anything from and Twitter at Nathan42, and thanks for watching.